Okay. Is the PPT visible? Can you all see para summary? Para summary दिख रहा है सबको? Okay, great. So before starting with this, let us first understand what a para summary is, right? आपके according क्या होता है ये para summary? कभी सुना है नाम या फिर obviously we all know that there is some weightage in the CAT examination. तो अगर weightage point of view से बात करें तो this verbal ability section consists of about 30 to 35% of this CAT pattern, CAT verbal pattern. And if we talk about, if we talk specifically about this para summary, we will understand that there can be a few questions being asked on para summary. So 2 to 3 questions on para summary, 2 to 3 questions on para jumbles, 2 to 3 questions on para completion, which is now newly added. पहले आया करता था para completion, बीच में फिर CAT वालों ने बंद कर दिया था पूछना. And last year they again came up with this surprise element and they asked this para completion again. So para summaries, para jumbles, para completions, and odd one outs. Today we are starting with this para summary. We'll try and finish up each topic in 2 sessions. So aaj first session and next session probably will be finishing off the para summary, and then we might start up with para jumbles. So don't miss any of these sessions, right? Ab se verbal ability start hoga to ek session important hoga. Right? Yes, summarizing in short summary of a paragraph. Yes, Shashank will definitely do that. Okay. So you all know what a para summary is. A paragraph will be given to you, right? A paragraph of, let's say, 5 to 6 lines, maximum 7 lines will be given to you. And then you'll be given 4 options. Right? And you have to choose one option which you think properly describes the main idea or the gist of the paragraph. Right? So मेन आइडिया कैसे फाइंड आउट करना है या फिर कौन सा एक पर्टिकुलर ऑप्शन चूज करना है इन द आंसर, विल हैव अ लुक एट द प्रोसेस, बट डोंट कंसिडर दिस टॉपिक एज एन इजी वन. यू माइट फील दैट मेन आइडिया ही तो चूज करना है, ऑप्शंस में मिल जाएगा. It's very difficult, it's very tricky because सारे के सारे options इतने similar होंगे and there might be a possibility that more than one option is correct according to the paragraph or according to the information given in the paragraph. But one of them, either of them will be a para summary, right? So let's look at this para summary. Now we all know the concept of a para summary, that a paragraph will be given to us ranging anywhere between 4 to 7 lines. And will be given 4 options. We'll have to choose an option, one single option, which will perfectly, or I would say, which would mainly describe the gist or the main idea or the subject matter of the paragraph, right? Okay, let's start with this. ये बात कर रहे हैं हम process की, right? Which process or what kind of a process you have to follow in order to attempt a para summary correctly. So the very first thing that you have to do is you need to read the paragraph given. Obviously, जो भी paragraph दिया है हमें उससे पहले read करना है, right? You have to read the paragraph very, very carefully. See, there is a slight difference between attempting a summary-based question in a reading comprehension and attempting a para summary itself. The difference is in the approach. The concept stays the same, but difference जो है वो approach में है. Reading comprehension में para summary based question solve करते वक्त we have already read the passage, we've gone through it, and we know we do have a lot of details with us, and it therefore it becomes easy for us to solve a summary based question. Here we are not given a whole passage, we are just given 4 to 5 lines. And hence, it's very, very important for us to understand each and every single word out of all those lines carefully. Because passage में एक दो line नहीं भी समझ आती, it's completely fine. It doesn't refrain us from choosing a perfect summary. यहाँ पे, because we are just given 4 to 5 lines and from those lines we have to pick a summary, it becomes really difficult for us. So in order to choose a perfect summary, we have to make sure that we are understanding each and every statement and each and every word, in fact, of this paragraph carefully. Right? So the very first point which we need to make sure is we are understanding, we are reading, and we are understanding the paragraph carefully. If you have not understood the paragraph, the chances are that you would not be able to pick the right summary. Please leave the question if you're not at all, if you're not able to understand the paragraph at all. So my suggestion is, I'm not demotivating you, or I'm not suggesting you to leave questions, but एक होता है ना, एक होता है that you're working hard, and एक होता है you're working smart, right? So my suggestion is, ऐसा बहुत बार आएगा आपको आपकी preparation की process में भी and exam में बैठते वक्त भी, there would be a lot of cases wherein you won't be aware about the question properly, or you won't be aware, or you won't be having an understanding of the options. In those cases, my suggestion is, please ignore those questions. Ego में आके हर एक question attempt करने मत लग जाना, right? Because even the 9900 percentilers are not going to attempt all the questions. They are going to leave some of the other questions, right? So the best thing to do is, you can try your level best to practice such questions, to practice each and every single type of a question of reading comprehension and from the verbal ability as well. But it's just not possible for us to attempt each and every single question in our examination. कहीं ना कहीं हमारी कोई ना कोई weakness भी होगी और strengths भी होगी. You have to find out where your strengths lie and where your weaknesses lie. So we can try our level best to understand each and every concept very very carefully, but आगे आपको भी देखना है कि आपका strength कहाँ पे, आपका weakness कहाँ पे है, and आपको exam में कौन से questions छोड़ के आना है, कौन से questions पे time spend करना है, right? So in this para summary, what you need to do is, you need to make sure that you at least understand 70 to 80% of the paragraph, right? Agar 70-60% bhi samajh nahi aata, then it's better to leave it, because then you won't be able to choose a perfect summary, right? So you need to read the paragraph. First of all, you need to understand each and every single word of that paragraph, and then if you don't understand it, even 60 to 70%, leave it. If you understand it, then move ahead, right? आगे क्या करना है हमें? Once you have understood the paragraph, what you need to do is, you must try to pick the subject matter of the passage. See, जैसे हम reading comprehension को read करके we try to find out the main idea, same process we have to follow here as well. We need to read the paragraph, and then we need to figure out the subject matter of the paragraph. So let's say if the paragraph is about caterpillars, right? तो हमें ये मतलब नहीं है कि पूरा का पूरा paragraph का idea देखना है. Basically, we just need to figure out the topic the whole paragraph revolves around, right? ताकि हम उस topic से familiar हो जाए, so that it becomes easy for us to know move on and decide if we want to attempt that para summary or not, right? तो अगर हम topic से familiar है, then definitely you can move on and understand the passage and then move on to solve the options. Pick the options. But अगर topic ही नहीं पता है, let's say if an alien topic comes in a para summary and you have no idea about it, right? Let's say कोई particular economic topic पे आ गया, या फिर कोई particular psychology topic पे आ गया, आपको वो topic का मतलब ही नहीं पता है, then obviously there's no point in wasting your time and then going ahead and reading it. You can just move on to solve other verbal ability questions, right? Because अगर आपको 8 questions आते हैं ना, let's say 8 questions, I'm talking about the few last year paper patterns, but let's say अगर आपको 8 to 10 verbal ability questions आता है depending on the paper pattern, तो it's definitely very very difficult. It's rarely possible for us to solve all 8 or all 10 questions of verbal ability section, right? तो उनमें से आपको बहुत smartly pick करना है कि आपको कौन से क्वेश्चन में कम टाइम लगा के करेक्ट आंसर आएगा, right? So that's why I'm again and again trying to push you to start practicing things and then start analyzing your strengths and weaknesses, because practice ही नहीं करोगे तो पता ही नहीं चलेगा आपकी strength कहाँ है और weakness कहाँ है, right? Kabir is saying, I tried a para summary test on the website and had to leave most of the questions. Obviously, it's better to leave something if you have no idea about it, right? So I hope आज के session के बाद ऐसा ना हो. I hope आज के बाद के session के बाद you start practicing things and you get to know things. Okay. Coming back to this, now you have read the paragraph, you have understood the paragraph, you've understood, you've tried to understand each and every word of the paragraph, and then you also try to get to know the subject matter of the paragraph, right? Next step is आपको paragraph समझ आ गया, आपको subject matter समझ आ गया. Now you're moving to the options, right? You'll be given 4 options, right? and you have to choose one particular option. Now that one particular option is very important. हमें उस एक option में तीन चीजें देखनी है, right? You have to make sure that those three things are getting applied to whichever option you choose as an answer, as the correct answer. So what do we need to see? Now you must start comparing the option, and the right option must, first thing, the right option must not have anything apart from what is given in the passage. So this is the first point, that whichever option you're choosing as an answer, that option must not have anything, any information apart from what is given in the paragraph to you. So basically, जितना paragraph में लिखा है, उतनी information option में होनी चाहिए. You cannot choose an option which is kind or something which looks like an alien option to you, right? ऐसी information नहीं choose करनी है जो paragraph में दी ही नहीं है. Right? So many a times a paper setter will confuse you by giving an option wherein their option might, that particular option might be partly correct. So आधे ऑप्शन में आधी उस ऑप्शन में जो आधी इंफॉर्मेशन होगी, इट माइट बी करेक्ट अकॉर्डिंग टू द पैराग्राफ. सो थोड़ा सा पढ़ के हमें तुरंत लगने लगेगा कि ओके यस दिस इज आवर आंसर, बट इन ऑर्डर टू चूज द करेक्ट आंसर स्मार्टली यू नीड टू मेक श्योर दैट यू रीड ईच एंड एवरी वर्ड ऑफ द ऑप्शन एज वेल, राइट? सो एक एक वर्ड पढ़ो ऑप्शन का, एंड इफ यू फील दैट ऐसा उसमें एक भी अगर एलिमेंट है विच इज नॉट अ पार्ट ऑफ द पैराग्राफ, देन स्ट्रिक्टली एलिमिनेट इट. क्लियर? Okay, so this is the first point that you have to keep in mind while choosing a correct para summary. Second thing which you need to make sure about is the right option must not distort the information. Distort करना यानी किसी चीज को गलत वे में present करना, किसी चीज को बिगाड़ देना, right? So if you feel that the option has some incorrect information about the paragraph, let's say if the paragraph says the sun rises in the east, and if the option says the sun rises in the west, then obviously you can feel that the option is distorting the information given to us in the paragraph, and hence you'll be eliminating it, right? The first point kya tha? The option must not have anything apart from what is given to us in the paragraph. Second point is that the option, what is the second point? That the option, are you guys here with me? Hello. Kya hai second point? Exactly, right? So the option must not distort the information given to us in the paragraph. Third point, right? It must not miss on any valuable information. Lastly, the right option must not leave out on any critical information. First point क्या था? That extra information नहीं चाहिए हमें. Second point was it should not distort the information given to us in the paragraph. And third point is that the option which we are choosing as an answer must not miss out on any important or valuable or critical information, right? Because it is very important for the option to have the most important information, because the para summary is nothing but the paragraph described in just 2 to 3 lines. तो अगर हम 7 to 8 lines को खाली एक या दो लाइन में डिस्क्राइब कर रहे हैं, तो नेचुरल सी बात है कि हम ऐसा ऑप्शन चूज करेंगे which will have the most valuable information, right? So there might be, okay, we'll discuss about it later in the process, but right now you just have to make sure about these 3 points. The first point is that you have to choose an option which is not having any extra information. Second thing which you need to remember is that you should not choose an option which is distorting the information. And third thing is it should not leave out on any critical or any important information. अब ये सारी चीजें देख ली. Now you have to start comparing the options, right? So you must look for the differences between the options, right? एक option पढ़ो, दूसरा option पढ़ो, read all the 4 options and then try to look at the differences between these options. कि एक option में क्या गलत है, क्या सही है, दूसरे option में क्या गलत है, क्या सही है. And then after going through all the options, you'll have to start with the elimination process, just as you do while solving a reading comprehension. Right? तो यहाँ पे भी same process apply करनी है. Read all the options, go through all of them, and compare these 3 points which we have just understood with all the options. Right? And after comparing, after making sure that these 3 points are getting applied to all the 4 options, after that, start with the elimination process. Right? तो जैसे 3 points में से एक point किसी एक option में valid नहीं है तो उसको eliminate कर दो. तो start eliminating the wrong options, and then let's say if you're left with two options in the end, let's say if you feel that both the options look like a correct answer to you, right? Then what are you going to do? अगर दोनों ही options correct लगते हैं, तो what you need to do is that you need to choose an option which maintains the essence of the paragraph, right? Try to read this. If two options are very close, then we should mark the one that maintains the focus. The essence is very important, right? So let's say, for example, you're left with two very, very close options, and both of them are correct. They're factually correct. They're completely correct. No information of those options are wrong according to the paragraph. What are you going to do next? You're going to see if any of, or if either of those two options have the information which is less valuable than the other one, right? तो अगर आपके पास दो बहुत close options है, then you'll end up choosing an option which is factually definitely correct and which is also maintaining the focus or the essence of the paragraph, and you'll try to eliminate the option which is having less valuable information. That information might be true. It's completely fine if that information is true, but you need to eliminate it if that information is less valuable as compared to the other one. Clear? So in short, para summary ka correct option choose karte waqt, we need to make sure about these 3 points which we just discussed. And we also need to make sure that whichever option we are choosing, it revolves around the main idea or the essence or the focus of the paragraph. Clear? Is each and every single point clear till now? Can I have a yes from all of you if we are ready to move on and if we are ready to solve the para summaries? A yes from all of you, please. Okay, great. Don't worry. We will be solving each and every para summary together only. But I just want you to make a try and just try to solve this first para summary. आपको भी पता लगेगा कि बिना साथ solve किए कैसे रहता है, if you're able to solve it correctly or not. Right? Please repeat the second point. Second point. Oh, second point out of those 3 points, Sumit. Second point was that the information given to us in the information given to us in the option must not have a distortion of the paragraph. तो जो option में information है वो गलत नहीं होनी चाहिए. To distort something is basically to present something in a wrong way, right? तो जो भी information है आपके पास option में, it should be completely correct according to the information given to us in the paragraph. Clear, Sumit? Okay, so let's move on and let's just try to solve the very first para summary, and it is a past CAT. CAT में पहले पूछी गई है. So just try your best, try your level best. Take your time and go through the whole process. Follow the whole process. Make sure that all these 3 points are getting applied in all those 4 options, and then lastly choose the correct answer. Come on. उसके बाद we are definitely going to understand it together and solve it. But I want you to try it first, and I want you to see if you are getting it correct or not. Come on, start. Start with understanding the paragraph first, and then and only then move to the options. Okay, Swapnanil. Okay, Naman. Okay, Ayush. Okay, Lakshita. Okay, Shashank. Okay, Aman. Okay, Urmi. Okay, Neha. Okay, Shivangi. Fine. Okay, Aditi. Okay, Satyajit. Very good, guys. You guys are very smart. Most of you are correct. Fine. Let's try to understand this together, and then we can probably move to the next one. So the paragraph says it. First of all, see, we have to read it and we have to understand each and every word of it, and then we need to find the subject matter. So we already know the subject matter, that the paragraph somewhere revolves around the caterpillars and how um, they try to save themselves by adopting some tricks. So let's understand this. North American moth caterpillars look like easy meals for birds, but they have a trick up their sleeves. They produce whistles that sound like bird alarm calls, scaring potential predators away. What do you mean by this word predators? Who are these predators? The ones who hunt, right? So there are these North American moth caterpillars. They look like easy meals for the birds, but they have a trick to save themselves. What they do is they try to produce whistles, and those whistles sound like these bird alarm calls. And because of these whistles, they are trying to let or scare the hunters or scare the potential predators away, those predators who try to hurt these North American caterpillars. So what they do is, yes, Aditi, it did. So what they do is, they try to produce whistles, the whistles which sound like these bird alarm calls, and these bird alarm calls try to scare these potential predators away. At first, scientists suspected birds were simply startled by the loud noise, but a new study suggests a more sophisticated mechanism. The caterpillar's whistle appears to mimic a bird alarm call, sending avian predators scrambling for cover. So at first, the scientists thought that this was just a loud noise and it was no trick adopted by the North American caterpillars. But later on, they found out that it was a trick adopted by them, and they found out that the whistle which was produced was completely similar to what a bird alarm call would sound like, right? So then they realized that they are actually adopting this trick to save themselves. And they say that when pegged by a bird, when bitten by a bird, the caterpillars whistle by compressing their bodies like an accordion. What do you understand by the word accordion? Accordion is basically an instrument. ये एक ऐसा instrument होता है जो पहले it moves like this. Exactly, it's like a musical, it's like an instrument. So when pegged by a bird, exactly correct, Aditi, it takes wind to play sound. Okay, Naman. So when bitten by a bird, what these caterpillars do to save themselves is they try to produce these whistles which sound like these bird alarm calls. The whistles completely mimic the bird alarm calls by compressing their bodies like an accordion and forcing air out through specialized holes in their sides. These whistles are impressively loud. They've been measured at over 50 decibels from 5 centimeters away from the caterpillar, considering they are made by a 2-inch long insect. Right. So the last line basically is just a fact given to you, and it's the information given about the whistles. They've been measured at over 50 decibels from 5 centimeters away. And it's surprising to know that such a small insect could produce such a large whistle, right? So yes, this is what the paragraph is all about. They are basically talking about some strategy adopted by the caterpillar to save themselves from the predators, right? Now, let's have a look at each and every single option and then try to eliminate every option by comparing it with those 3 points. Like first option says, North American walnut moth caterpillars will whistle periodically to ward off predator birds. They have a specialized vocal tract that helps them whistle. Now, you guys tell me what is wrong with this A option? A option में ऐसा क्या गलत है कि हम उसको eliminate करेंगे? What is wrong? Correct, Laksh. Yes, correct, Sumit. Correct, Pragati. Aman, what is wrong with that? Will whistle में क्या गलत है? See, there is this one thing. Exactly, Akash, correct. तो पहली चीज तो ये है करेक्ट शशांक, एब्सोल्युटली करेक्ट। दो चीजें जो है वो एक्सटर्नल इंफॉर्मेशन है, राइट। सो फर्स्ट वर्ड विच इज पीरियोडिकली, ऐसा पैराग्राफ में कहीं पे भी नहीं लिखा है दैट दे विसल इन अ पीरियोडिक मैनर और दे विसल पीरियोडिकली, तो ये पीरियड की बात तो कहीं की नहीं है। सो इट लुक्स लाइक एन एक्सटर्नल इंफॉर्मेशन टू अस, यू कुड हैव एलिमिनेटेड इट एट द वेरी फर्स्ट ग्लांस, बट दूसरा रीजन ये भी है that there is no mention about the vocal tract in the paragraph. So again, something which is kind of an external information for us, and we'll be eliminating it. Second option, North American walnut moth caterpillars can whistle very loudly. The loudness of their whistles is shocking as they are very small insects. Now, ye information the completely correct. What is wrong with this? Why did you not end up choosing this B option as an answer? What is wrong with this B option? Exactly, correct Lakshita. Yes. Yes, correct Satyajit. Correct Aditi. Yes, correct Shashank. Correct Pragati. All of you are correct. It is not the main idea. Yes, Raghav, correct. So it is the main idea of this whole paragraph is talking about the strategy which they use to scare the predators away, scare the potential predators away. तो वो strategy की बात ही नहीं है, वो whistles की बात कि क्या purpose रहता है whistles produce करने का, and they want to save themselves by producing those whistles. All that is not at all being talked about in the second paragraph. We are definitely saying that those whistles are very loud, but because those whistles are loud, we won't end up choosing the second option as an answer because it does not revolve around the main idea, or it is not the focus, right? The loudness of the whistles is not focus. The purpose of the whistles is focus. So this goes out as well. Now, if you look at these third and the fourth option, both these options are very, very similar to each other. You might have ended up choosing the wrong option as well. And you now need to look at the difference. Exactly, correct, Aditi, very good. So the third option says the North American caterpillars in case of acoustic deception. This word, yes, Shashank, acoustic is basically something which is related to music, sound. Right, so because they're producing whistles, they're deceiving the birds by producing the whistles, and that's why they've named it as acoustic deception, right? So the North American caterpillars, in case of an acoustic deception, produce whistles that mimic bird alarm calls to defend themselves. It's completely correct, right? That's what we want in a particular option. Ek information valid hai isme, and everything is getting covered in this third option. Ki North American caterpillars, they produce whistles, and because they produce whistles, it is known as an acoustic deception. Deception word is very important because it describes the producing whistles. Why are they producing the whistles? Because they want to deceive the birds. Right, so they are producing these whistles to deceive the birds, and these whistles are basically mimicking the bird alarm calls to defend themselves. Clear? So everything, each and every single word mentioned in this third option is correct. Now let's compare it with the fourth option. There is just this one difference. Correct, Lakshita? Yes, there is just this one difference between the third and the fourth option. The fourth option has this additional word, camouflage, in, yes, Aman. So what do you understand by this word camouflage? Camouflage is basically changing the appearance of the body to deceive someone, right? Exactly. Camouflage is color change. If you have heard about the animal chameleon, chameleon kya karta hai, right? You might have heard about the animal that wo apne eyes ka color change kar leta hai to deceive people, right? So there is nothing being talked about camouflaging in this particular paragraph. They're just trying to produce whistles, right? They're not getting involved into this camouflage thing. So that's why, again, this is something which is external given to us from the paragraph, and hence we'll be eliminating this, right? अब जल्दी में अगर आपने ये camouflage word नहीं पढ़ा होता, अभी तो आपके पास time था, and there was no anxiety present, but जब time pressure आता है, and when you forget reading every single word of the option, then आपसे गलतियां होने लगती है, and you might end up choosing the wrong answer, wrong option over the correct one. So yes, all of you did a very good job. You did a great job by choosing the third option as the correct answer. It is the correct answer. For those who chose some other options, I hope it is clear now. Is it clear to each and every one of you? क्यों third option correct है? Is it clear to all of you? Any questions, any doubts? Okay, great. Let's move on to the next. Chalo, try to read this one. पहले थोड़ा सा easy जाता है, फिर tricky पे जाएंगे. Second one is a bit trickier than the third one. So try to solve the third question first. Okay, Unnati. Okay, Satyajit. Okay, Swapnanil. Okay, Aditi. Okay, Aman. Okay, Shashank. Okay, Ayush, Sumit, Raghav, Sonam. Fine. Let's last few seconds for you to attempt. Okay, Urmi, Naman. Okay, Aditi. Yes, you're correct, Aditi. Okay, Shivangi. Okay, Lakshita. Fine, let's make a try. I think it was really easy for you to attempt. All you had to do is you just had to concentrate on the differences between each and every single option, because यहाँ पे differences बहुत कम है. There's hardly a difference of 1 or 2 words in all the options. और वहीं पे the hint lies. Okay, so the paragraph is artificial embryo twinning is a relatively low tech way to understand by this word clones. What are clones? Clones का मतलब क्या होता है? What do you understand by the word cloning? Anyone? To create, exactly, to create an identical copy. Yes, correct, Swapnanil. Correct, Neha. Yes, all of you are correct. Lakshita, Laksh. Yes, yes. So to create something identical, or by creating a replica of someone using the laboratory procedure, right? Okay. So artificial embryo twinning is a relatively low-tech way to make clones. As the name suggests, this technique mimics, it copies the natural process that creates identical twins. In nature, twins form very early in development when the embryo splits in two. See, there are these hints here that twins कब form होते हैं? Twins form very early in development when the embryo splits in two. Twinning happens in the first days after egg and sperm join. See, this process wherein the egg and the sperms join is nothing but the fertilization process. So egg and sperm joining is the fertilization process. And when does the twinning happen? It clearly says that this twinning happens in the first days after the fertilization process, after the eggs and the sperm join. While the embryo is made up of just a small number of unspecialized cells, each half of the embryo continues dividing on its own, ultimately developing into a separate, complete individuals. Since they are developed from the same fertilized egg, the resulting individuals are generally are genetically identical, right? So I think the language of the paragraph was pretty much easy to understand. It's basically a process. A process is given, and it is making us understand how these twins are formed using this cloning process. Let's have a look at the first option. The first option says artificial embryo twinning is low tech. Yes, correct. And mimetic basically copying something exactly, copying something in an exact way. So mimetic of the natural development of genetically identical twins from the embryo after fertilization. Completely fine. There's nothing wrong with this information. It is also focusing on the main idea of the paragraph. Each and every critical information is getting covered in this first option. So we are talking about the artificial embryo twinning, which is a low tech. Yes, it's completely given to us. That's a low tech way. And it mimics the natural development. Yes, it is mimicking the natural development. And it also says that the identical twins are formed from the embryo after fertilization. It says that the twinning forms in the first days after fertilization. So it's completely correct. We can choose this option, but let's just not be overconfident and let's just confirm the other options as well. Second option says artificial embryo twinning is low tech, unlike the natural development. Completely opposite to what is given to us in the paragraph. Unlike yani, uske jaisa nahi hai, right? Exactly, correct. Yes, correct, Aditi. So this goes out. It is completely opposite to what is given to us. Third option says artificial embryo twinning is just like the natural development. Fine. I mean, saying that it is just like something else and saying it is mimetic is these two statements are pretty much similar to each other. So we can take it as a correct option till here, where during fertilization the twins are formed. No, we already know that the twinning happens after the fertilization process, right? It happens in the first days after the fertilization process and not during the fertilization process. So this goes out as well. And fourth option says artificial embryo is low tech, or twinning is low tech and is close to the natural development. Saying that it is close to something and then saying that it is completely similar to it are different. Both the statements are different. So we could have again eliminated this at the very first glance. Clear? Is it clear to all of you? I think it was an easy one and you could have chosen this first option as the correct answer. Aman, exactly, that's what I'm saying. So fourth option will be eliminated because it is completely mimicking the process. It is not close to something, it is completely mimicking it. So we'll be eliminating it again. I hope you don't have any questions in this, and I hope you guys are doing a great job. I mean, most of the answers, I've been getting most of the answers as correct ones. So I think we can move on and solve a trickier question. So read this second paragraph and try to solve the answer. Come on. So try to choose the correct answer. Come on. Take your time. Don't rush. And just try to solve it. Come on. Aditi, it means taken out. I mean, you saw this word in which statement? Yes, it means taken something out. Like you can say to pick something, to take something out. Okay, Aditi. Okay, Lakshita. Okay, Naman. Okay, Satyajit. Okay, Aditi, a good one. Okay, Shashank. Okay, Aman. Okay, Ayush. आप लोगों का पहले पैरा समरी का क्लास हो चुका है क्या? Have you guys solved these para summaries in the prior classes? Okay, Neha. Okay, Unnati. Because it's surprising all of you are doing such a great job. Okay, okay, Shashank. Okay, Shivangi. Fine, fine. Let's understand this paragraph together. What is this paragraph trying to make us understand? It's talking something about the words mentioned in the dictionary and the words which we use in our daily. It was done before. Is this done before? Lakshita is saying it's done before. Okay, anyways. Okay, great. So this paragraph. Okay. Okay, no worries, Lakshita. Okay, so this paragraph says that a fundamental property of language is that it is slippery and messy and more liquid than solid, a gelatinous mass that changes shape to fit. Okay, Shashank, no worries. So we're talking about some properties of the language here. And one of the fundamental property of languages is that it is slippery and more liquid than solid, because the usage of our language or the usage of the words change on the daily basis. हम रोज अलग अलग वर्ड्स यूज करके अपनी लैंग्वेज को फ्रेम करके स्टेटमेंट्स फॉर्म करते हैं, राइट? सो दैट्स व्हाई दे से दैट दिस लैंग्वेज इज रियली more liquid than solid, because it can adjust according to our statements and according to our usage of these statements, right? As Wittgenstein would remind us, usage has no sharp boundary. It has no boundary. Our usage of the words has no boundary. We can randomly choose and we can randomly select words according to the usage or the meaning of our statements which we use in our daily language. So it has no boundary. Oftentimes, the only way to determine the meaning of a word is to examine how it is used, right? Because we can use one single word in different statements using different those similar words can have different meanings in different statements. And that's why they say that the only way to determine the meaning of a word is to examine its usage, right? How are we using that particular word in a statement? This insight is often described as the meaning in use doctrine, right? There are differences between the meaning in use doctrine and a dictionary first theory of the meaning. So obviously there are differences between, let's say आप एक particular word का meaning dictionary में देख रहे हो, right? The dictionary meaning could be completely different, right? And it will stay the same. डिक्शनरी में ऐसा नहीं लिखा होता कि अगर आप ये वर्ड इस स्टेटमेंट में यूज करोगे तो मीनिंग अलग होगा और दूसरे स्टेटमेंट में यूज करोगे तो मीनिंग अलग होगा. So the word or the meaning of the word in the dictionary is going to stay fixed. It is going to stay static. But the meaning of that word will change in the meaning in use doctrine, because then we'll be using that word differently in different statements. Right? So there is a difference between, there are differences between the meaning in use doctrine and the dictionary first theory of meaning. The dictionary's careful fixing of words to definitions, like butterflies pinned under the glass, can suggest that this is how language works. Right? We cannot do anything about it. Dictionary mein words ke jo meanings hai wo fixed rehte hain, and we can hardly get any idea about it. Right? So, I mean, sadly, this is how language works. And हमें अगर कोई वर्ड का मीनिंग देखना होता है तो हम डिक्शनरी में ही जाके देखते हैं, बट वी कैन नॉट नो द एग्जैक्ट मीनिंग बिकॉज द यूसेज ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर वर्ड माइट हैव बीन डिफरेंट इन दैट स्टेटमेंट. But yes, sadly, that's how language works. That's how we do on a daily basis. The definitions can seem to ensure and fix the meaning of those words, just as the gold standard can back a country's currency. Right? I hope you know what gold standard is. गोल्ड स्टैंडर्ड एक बेसिकली प्रोसेस थी, बहुत पुरानी प्रोसेस है. वी यूज्ड टू यूज दिस प्रोसेस इन आवर 1930s or 1940s or prior to that, ये process में we used to value the currency by comparing it with the value of gold. So currency की value को gold की value से compare किया जाता था, and then we used to come out with the valuation of that currency. Now this process is no more in the usage. But it says that the definitions can seem to ensure and fix the meaning of words, just as the gold standard can back a country's currency. What Wittgenstein found in the circulation of ordinary language, however, was a free-floating currency of meaning. The value of each word arises out of the exchange. The lexicographer abstracts a meaning from that exchange, which is then set within the conventions of the dictionary definition. So lexicographer वो होता है जो dictionary लिखता है. And what these last few lines say is that the value of each word, okay, what he found in the circulation of ordinary language, however, was a free floating currency of the meaning. Our language is basically a free floating process. जो डिक्शनरी में मीनिंग होते हैं वो फिक्स्ड रहते हैं, बट जो हम यूज करते हैं, what the meaning in doctrine is, it's a free floating process. We can easily freely use different words in our daily usage, right? Unlike the dictionary thing, the value of each word arises out of the exchange, right? और लेक्सिकोग्राफर क्या करता है? लेक्सिकोग्राफर वो जो वर्ड्स के मीनिंग्स है वो कहाँ से पिक करता है? आउट ऑफ our daily usage, out of our exchange that we go through on the daily basis, right? तो हम किसी से words को exchange करते हैं, हम communicate करते हैं, उसी communication के through, उसी exchange के through, lexicographer understands the meaning of those words, and then what he does is the lexicographer then fixes the meaning of that word with the help of that exchange, and then sets it within the convention of the dictionary definition. Clear? Was this paragraph understandable? Paragraph samajh aaya? They're basically trying to make us understand how sadly the meaning of the words in the dictionaries stay fixed, and hum unka kuch nahi kar sakte. We have to understand the meaning by going through that one particular word written in the dictionary, and we can hardly do anything about it. Right? Okay. First option क्या बोल रहा है? Dictionary definitions are like gold standards. Fine, यहाँ तक correct है. Artificial, theoretical, and dogmatic. See, dogmatic is too much of an extreme word to be used here. Dogmatic basically means dogmatic opinion होना, यानी बेसिकली ये बोलना कि अगर मैं डॉगमेटिक हूं तो मैं ये बोलूंगी कि सिर्फ मैं करेक्ट हूं, बाकी सब गलत है. सो डॉगमेटिक इज बेसिकली, यू कैन से डोमिनेटिंग, वेरी वेरी अथॉरिटेटिव. डिक्शनरी डेफिनेशंस गोल्ड स्टैंडर्ड जैसी होती है, ये तो लिखा है, बट वेयर आर वी सेइंग दैट दे आर आर्टिफिशियल और दे आर डॉगमेटिक? These two words are too much of extreme words to be used here, and hence we will be eliminating this first option. Right? Second option क्या बोल रहा है? Language is already slippery. Given this, accounting for meaning and use will only exasperate the problem. Exasperate यानी किसी चीज को और बिगाड़ देना, to worsen something, right? So it says that language is already slippery, and given this, accounting for meaning and use will only exasperate the problem. That is why lexicographers fix meanings. See, paragraph में author is supporting the meaning and use doctrine and is against the dictionary meanings, right? He's saying that the dictionary meanings are static, they are fixed, they are like butterflies pen under the glass, right? They are like gold standards. But meaning and use doctrine is very, very useful. Second option में the idea is completely opposite, right? वो बोल रहे हैं that meaning and use will worsen the problem, not the dictionary thing, right? So this goes out again. I hope you understood this, right? Second option, the idea presented in the second option is completely going against the idea presented by the author. Author meaning and use को support कर रहा है, लेकिन second option में dictionary को support किया गया है, and meaning and use को बोला गया है that it will worsen the problem, which is completely wrong. Third option is obviously the correct one, so we'll look at it in the end. Fourth option says the meaning of words in dictionaries is clear, fixed, and less dangerous and ambiguous than the meaning that arises when words are exchanged, right? See, this is again completely opposite to what is given to you. आपको पैराग्राफ में लिखा है दैट डिक्शनरी में जो मीनिंग्स है वो क्लियर नहीं है, दे आर नॉट क्लियर, दे आर डेफिनेटली स्टैटिक, दे आर फिक्स्ड, but they are dangerous. They are no more clear because सिर्फ एक वर्ड से आप एक वर्ड जो लिखा होता है डिक्शनरी में उससे आप वर्ड्स की जो मीनिंग्स है वो एक्सट्रैक्ट नहीं कर सकते, बिकॉज द मीनिंग्स ऑफ दोज वर्ड्स कैन चेंज डिपेंडिंग ऑन द यूसेज, right? So they are definitely not clear, and they're definitely not less dangerous. They are more dangerous when we compare them with the meaning in use doctrine, and that is why again it is contradicting with the idea given to us in the paragraph, hence it goes out. Swapnanil, I hope it is clear now. For those who chose fourth option as an answer, I hope it is clear. Third option says meaning is dynamic, correct? Definitions are static. Correct, absolutely correct. The meaning and use theory helps us understand that definitions of words are culled from their meaning in exchange and use, and not vice versa. See, इस last line का मतलब ये है, हमें last line में क्या दिया है, that lexicographer कैसे fix करता है meaning dictionary में? He does it with the help of the meaning from that exchange, from the meaning in use doctrine, and then sets it within the conventions of the dictionary. And that's what is given to you in the third option as well, that the definition of the words are culled from their meaning. They are taken from the exchange, right? They're culled from their exchange. They are taken out from their meaning in exchange and use, and not vice versa. वाइस वर्सा इसलिए बोला है दैट हम डिक्शनरी में से देख के वर्ड्स को यूज नहीं करते, लेक्सिकोग्राफर हमारा एक्सचेंज देख के उसमें yes, Naman, these are definitely some of the past questions being asked. So lexicographer हमें हमारी हेल्प लेके डिक्शनरी में डेफिनेशंस को मीनिंग्स को सेट करता है, ना कि वाइस वर्सा. Is it clear? I hope this is pretty much clear to you, and I hope this is understandable कि हम थर्ड ऑप्शन को क्यों चूज करें over the fourth one and over the other options. Is it clear? Can I have a yes from all of you if this was understandable to all of you? Can I have a yes? Yes, Akash, surely I can explain you the first option again. Just a yes from all of you if this was understandable. Yes, vocabulary can definitely make things a hell tricky than you can imagine, right? And that's why I told you it's very important for you to understand each and every word. How is the meaning of words in dictionaries more dangerous than used in vocabulary? Swapnanil, we are not talking about vocabulary here. See, we are saying that the meaning, let's say, for example, we are using a word. We are using a word vague, right? Vague is basically something which is not clear. So, is vague का मतलब dictionary में शायद लिखा होगा something unclear, right? Dictionary has limited amount of meanings explained to you, right? तो डिक्शनरी में जो मीनिंग्स होंगे वो बहुत लिमिटेड होंगे. डिक्शनरी में अगर आप वेग का मीनिंग देखोगे, इट माइट हैव मेंशन्ड अनक्लियर और सम अदर वर्ड्स एज वेल, बट it is definitely very important for you to understand that you can use this word vague a million times in a million different statements, and all those words might have different meanings according to your own usage in those different statements. तो ये पैराग्राफ का मोटिव ये है, ऑथर ये बोलना चाह रहा है that डिक्शनरी में जो डेफिनेशंस है वो बहुत बार डेंजरस हो सकती है बिकॉज दे हैव लिमिटेड मीनिंग्स, बट जो मीनिंग इन यूज डॉक्ट्रिन होता है वो बहुत हेल्पफुल है बिकॉज it is not limiting ourselves to use these words in different in different statements, using different having a different usage. Getting it, Swapnanil? So they're saying that definitions jo hai dictionary mein, they are fixed, they are static, we cannot do anything about them. But jo meaning in use doctrine hai, it is very helpful because we can then change the meaning of these words according to our different purposes in different statements. Clear? Naman, I would say this was anywhere between medium to hard. It was not an easy one, definitely, when we compare it with this third question. So, yes, that's why I was keen and attempting and understanding the third question first. But any which ways, I think the language was a bit trickier for you to understand. Okay, someone was asking me the meaning of the first option. First option में क्या लिखा है? Dictionary definitions are like gold standards, जो कि already दिया हुआ है. Fine, it is correct. Artificial, theoretical and dogmatic. पूरे paragraph में भले ही लिखा है that dictionary definitions are fixed or static, but nowhere in the whole paragraph it says that the dictionary definitions are artificial or dogmatic, and hence we are eliminating this because the option has some external words which are not at all relevant to the paragraph. Clear? कौन पूछ रहा था मुझे? I forgot. I hope it is clear now. Akash, is it clear? Okay, great. Let's move on. Please, koi bhi doubt ho, you can ask me at any point of time. Don't hesitate in asking even in the silliest doubts, right? Okay, let's go on and try to solve the fifth question. Fifth ke baad fourth solve karenge because fourth is again a trickier one. Come on. Okay, Aditi. Be confident. Aditi, your first, इससे पहले वाला भी आपका correct था. So it's completely fine. Just be confident with whatever you're choosing. Satyajit, yes, okay. Okay, Ayush. Okay, Raghav. Okay, Unnati. Yes, it is Aditi. Correct. Okay, Naman. No worries. Okay, Aman. See, if you're not aware about these Samaritan laws, basically there's a these Samaritan laws are basically meant to help people, right? So up usually you definitely help people out of your own empathies, but एक ऐसा law है जो आपको बोलता है कि आप लोगों को help करो. So they are anyway connected to connected and helping people. Okay, Shashank, Pragati, Akash. Okay, last 10-15 seconds. Okay, Sumit. Come on, last 10-15 seconds left for you to attempt. Okay, Neha. No, Nati. Okay, Shashank. No worries. Chalo, let's try to understand this. Should the moral obligation, see, first of all, try to concentrate on these punctuation marks and exclamatory marks. यहाँ पे question पूछा जा रहा है that should the moral obligation to rescue and aid persons, to help persons in grave peril, peril मतलब danger, felt by a few be enforced by the criminal law? क्या लोगों को हेल्प करने का ऑब्लिगेशन उसको लॉ बना देना चाहिए? Should the moral obligation to help people felt by a few be enforced by the criminal law? So we don't know it yet. We don't know the motive of the paragraph. It is just trying to ask us a question. Should this happen or not? Okay, let's move ahead to know further. Should we follow the lead of a number of European countries and enact bad Samaritan laws? जैसे यूरोपियन कंट्रीज ने इसको लॉ बना दिया है, क्या वैसे हमें भी ये करना चाहिए? Proponents of bad Samaritan laws must overcome at least three different sorts of obstacles. So, if at all we are making it a law, it should follow these few proponents of the law. First proponent is that they must show the laws are morally legitimate in principle. Obviously, the law, agar law koi aata hai, then it should be morally legitimate. That is that the duty to aid others is a proper candidate for legal enforcement. Second proponent is that they must show that this duty to aid can be defined in a way that can be fairly enforced by the courts. And third is that they must show that the benefits of the laws are worth their problems, risks, and costs. So, ये three proponents आपका basic funda आपको समझने का ये है that we are being given a question and it asks us whether we should make these bad Samaritan or whether we should make a law for helping people or not, whether we should follow the path of these European countries who have made this a law. And agar hum is a law banate hai, then we should follow these three proponents, whatever these proponents are. Right now, let's have a look at the first option. First option says a number of European countries that have successfully enacted bad Samaritan laws may serve as model statutes. See, definitely it might have been the correct option according to the information given, but there is something wrong with this first option. What is so wrong with this first option? It is definitely correct according to the information given. Yes, correct, Aditi. So, model statutes definitely galat hai, but there is something more with this, more missing in this option. It is that it is not trying to focus on the essence of the paragraph. There is this one thing given to us which is very important. Following these proponents. Proponents के बारे में तो कोई बात ही नहीं हुई है first option में, right? So this goes out. B option says everyone agrees that people ought to aid others. The only debate is whether to have a law on it. Why is this option wrong? Again, जो proponents के बारे में information है वो missing है. And दूसरी चीज, the second option is an extreme option for us because of the word everyone. We cannot say that everyone agrees that people ought to aid others, right? I might not favor the law of helping people, right? So everyone word makes it an extreme option. Yes, Aditi, correct. Third option says if bad Samaritan laws are found to be legally sound and enforceable, they must be enacted. What is wrong with this? What is wrong with this option? Bharagav is saying there's nothing wrong with this. There is something wrong with this. And again, it comes out as an extreme option for us. Why extreme? Because of this word must. Right? If bad Samaritan laws are found to be legally sound and enforceable, they must be enacted. कहाँ पे लिखा है they must be enacted? हमें तो खुद question पूछा जा रहा है that should they be enacted or not? तो हमें पैराग्राफ में कहीं पे भी ऐसा मैंडेटरी नहीं लिखा है that if they are following these three proponents, then they must be enacted. Right? They can be enacted. We cannot say they must be enacted, right? So again, it comes out to be an extreme option. That's why I told you that ये छोटे-छोटे words बहुत important है. Everyone, all, must. बहुत सारी बार पेपर सेटर इन सबको एक्सट्रीम ऑप्शन बना के प्रेजेंट करता है, राइट? Fourth option is definitely the correct one. Bad Samaritan laws may be, right? They may be desirable. They must be desirable. ऐसा नहीं आएगा. They may be desirable, but in order to be desirable, they definitely need to be tested for legal soundness. The legal soundness in proponents को support कर रहा है, right? They must be supporting these three proponents, or they must be tested for the legal soundness, and then and only then they may be desirable. Clear? Is this clear to each one of you? कोई doubt? I hope it is clear to all of you. Any doubts, any questions? Okay. Let's move ahead and solve the other one. Just a minute. Okay, come on. Try this one. Just a minute. Yeah, try this one. Come on. Seventh one. Seventh question. All humans make decisions. Okay, Satyajit. Okay, Naman. Okay, Swapnanil. Okay, Akash. Okay, Lakshita. Okay, Raghav. Yes, different speed, Arjun. Okay, Aditi, Neha. Lakshita, reattempt. All of you are correct. Shashank, correct. Yes, Akash. Okay, Pragati. Come on, last few seconds left. Okay, Arjun, correct. All of you are correct. Okay. What is the paragraph you're trying to make us understand? It is something about we making decisions, and we making decisions on the basis of different things, right? So all humans make decisions based on one or a combination of factors, and this is either intuition or information. All humans make decisions on the basis of these two factors. It can be either intuition or information. Decisions made through intuition are really fast. People don't even think about the problem. We don't think before making a decision. When we talk about intuition, जो भी intuition होता है वो हम choose कर लेते हैं, right? We don't think about the consequences of it. It is quite philosophical, meaning that someone who made a decision based on intuition will have difficulty explaining the reasoning behind it. Because we don't think about it, we don't have a reason about it, right? The decision maker would often utilize their senses in drawing conclusions, which again is based on some experience in the field of study. On the other side of the spectrum, we have decisions made based on information. These decisions are rational. जो हम information के basis पर decisions लेंगे, they'll definitely be rational, because we'll be having a look at the data and then we'll be choosing something on the basis of that particular data or information. So they are definitely rational. It is based on different facts and figures, which unfortunately also means that it can be quite slow. So intuition ke basis pe jo decisions lete hain, they're fast because we don't even think about them. But when we talk about the decisions made based on the information, they can be really slow because we need a lot of facts and figures. The decision maker would frequently use reports, analysis, and indicators to form her conclusion. This methodology results in accurate, quantifiable decisions, meaning that a person can clearly explain the rationale behind it. Right. So there are basically the motive of this paragraph, or the motive of the author in this paragraph, is not to support either of the bases. Right. He's not supporting either intuition or information. He's just trying to list out the differences in the decisions made with the help of intuition and information. The decisions made are fast in intuition, and the decisions made are slow in information. The decisions made in via intuition are without any rationale. Whereas, I mean, it is not the case in information. So there are just differences listed in, between both the things. Let's now look at the options. First option says we make decisions based on intuition or information on the basis of the time available. Are we talking about the time available to us? क्या हम ऐसा बोल रहे हैं that हम decisions बनाते हैं on the basis of the time? No, not at all. This goes out. Second option says it is better to make decisions based on the information. यहीं पे रुक जाओ. Is the author supporting anything? No, author is neither supporting information nor is he supporting intuition. वो सिर्फ आपके सामने facts को रख रहा है, right? So we cannot say that it is better to do something else over something, right? This goes out as well. Decisions based on intuition and information result in different speed and ability to provide a rationale, which is completely correct. ऑथर ने दो चीजों के बेसिस पर डिफरेंसेस निकाले, स्पीड एंड रैशनले एंड रीजन, राइट? सो yes, this could be a perfect parasummary for us, because everything mentioned in this option is correct according to the paragraph. Fourth option says, well, decisions based on intuition can be made fast. The reasons that led to these cannot be spelled out. What is wrong with this last option? Last option क्यों गलत है? Because it is missing out on the critical information. पैराग्राफ में दो चीजें बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. एग्जैक्टली करेक्ट अदिति. इंफॉर्मेशन भी और इंट्यूशन भी. दिस फोर्थ ऑप्शन इज ओनली टॉकिंग अबाउट इंट्यूशन. इट इज नॉट एट ऑल टॉकिंग अबाउट इंफॉर्मेशन, एंड हेंस वी विल बी एलिमिनेटिंग दिस एज वेल. So the correct answer will be the third option. Is it clear? Yes, Pragati, correct. Any questions, any doubts in this? Okay. Let's have a look at this. How 3? Why not 3, Aman? So, आपके according कौन सा option सही है? Let's try to first of all clear your answer and then we can say why 3. Which option do you think can be the answer apart from 3? C3 इसलिए because it says that decisions based on intuition and information result in different speed. That's what the author says, that intuition में लिया हुआ decision fast होता है and information के basis पे लिया हुआ decision slow होता है. So they both definitely have differences in speed and they also have differences in providing a rationale. So the author already says that intuition में लिया गया decision is not having any rationale behind it. It is not having any reasoning behind it. But information mein liya gaya decision does have a rationale, it does have a reason because it is based on facts and figures. That's what is given to us in the whole paragraph. That's why third option. Clear, Aman? Okay. Let's now look at the 6th question. Come on. Probably the last question for today, but might be a trickier one. Come on, let's try this. Arjun, which line? Okay, it basically means restrictions. किसी चीज को लिमिट कर देना. Okay, Aman. Okay, Aditi, Lakshita, Raghav. Okay, Arjun. Okay, Sumit, Shashank. Okay, Swapnanil. Come on, last 1 minute. Okay, Pragati. Shashank, Sumit, reattempt. Okay, Satyajit. Fine. Let's understand this. So basically, the paragraph is talking about physics and engineering, right? Let's understand this. Physics is a pure science that seeks to understand the behavior of matter without regard to whether it will afford any practical benefit. So physics is basically a pure science. It doesn't matter if the experiments are getting applied to any practical benefits or not. Physics just concentrates on the pure scientific concepts, right? Engineering is the correlative applied science in which physical theories are put to some specific use. Engineering क्या करता है? उन्हीं physical theories को practical use में डालता है. Physics doesn't concern about having a practical benefit, but engineering does. So engineering applies those physical theories and puts them to practical use, such as building a bridge or a nuclear reactor. Engineers obviously rely heavily on the discoveries of physicists, but an engineer's knowledge of the world is not the same as a physicist's knowledge, right? In fact, an engineer's know-how will often depend on physical theories that, from the point of view of pure physics, are false. So there is definitely the difference between the thought process of the physicists and engineers. Engineers, in usual cases, try to pick those theories which are rejected by the physicists, right? So what they do is there are some reasons why they accept those false theories. First, the first reason is that theories that are false in the purest and strictest sense are still sometimes very good approximations to the true ones. राइट बहुत बार हम ऐसी थ्योरीज को रिजेक्ट कर देते हैं जो कि काफी बार approximately true हो सकती है. They are not definitely perfectly true, but they might be approximately true. And engineers try to pick those theories which are rejected by the physicists because of them being not perfectly true, right? So the first reason is this. Second is sometimes the true theories apply only under highly idealized conditions, which can only be created under controlled experimental situations. And the engineer finds that in the real world, theories rejected by the physicists give more accurate predictions than the ones that they accept. So the whole basis of the paragraph is that they've tried to make us understand that physics is just a pure science. It doesn't care about whether their theories are trying to make a practical benefit or not. Engineers work completely in a different way. They try to apply those physical theories and they try to make different uses out of those theories. And the second point given here is engineers usually try to accept those theories which are rejected by the physicists because of different reasons presented here in this paragraph, right? Now let's try to pick one of the options. First option says the relationship between pure and applied science is strictly linear, with the pure science directing applied science and never the other way around. Why is this option wrong? Why is this option wrong? See, पहली लाइन से ही आपको ये पता लग जाना चाहिए था that the relationship between pure science and engineering is strictly linear. No, it's not at all linear. It's the other way around. अगर linear होता तो वो एक ही direction में सोचते. But in this paragraph, it already says that the ideology or the thought processes or the working of both the things of both the people, engineers and physicists, is completely different. They don't work the same way. So the relationship cannot be linear at all. It should be the either way around. So this goes out. This is completely opposite to what is given to us. Right? Second option says, though engineering draws heavily from pure science, it contributes to knowledge by incorporating the constraints and conditions in the real world. This is completely correct. वही समझाया हमें पैराग्राफ में कि engineers ऐसी theories को pick करते हैं जो physicists reject कर देते हैं because वो physicists उन theories को इसलिए reject करते हैं because of certain conditions and certain restrictions. Right? It actually says that the true theories apply only under highly idealized conditions which can only be created under controlled experimental situations. और ये conditions और restrictions को engineers देख के apply करने का try करते हैं, and that's why it says that though engineering draws heavily from pure science, it contributes to knowledge by incorporating these conditions and these restrictions in the real world, which is completely true. Third option says the unique task of an engineer is to we're not talking about what an engineer has to do. We're not talking about the tasks of engineers here. Engineer ka task kya hota hai? His task is to identify, understand, and interpret the designs. We're not talking about the task of the engineer at all. So might be true according to the information given, but it is not at all focusing on the main idea of the paragraph. So this goes out. Fourth option says engineering and physics fundamentally differ on matters. Yahan tak correct hai. Like building a bridge or a nuclear reactor, right? It is the information given is definitely true, but again, it is missing out on the most important information being given to us. ये तो examples की बातें कर रहा है. Examples are, one of the least. An example is one of the least information given to us in the paragraph, because example के पीछे का आपको idea समझाना है. You don't have to literally involve the examples in the option by making it a less important option. So this goes out as well, right? Second option has to be the correct answer because it is accurately focusing on the essence of the whole passage. Is it clear to all of you? Is it clear? Any questions or any doubts? Can I have a yes from all of you before we... Sumit, Shashank, I hope it is clear. Any questions, any doubts? Okay, great. Fine. I think we have already had a look at 4 to 5 para summaries in today's session. Please, that the different matters like... No, Arjun. It's nowhere written that they differ on the matters. It just says that जैसे physics apply नहीं करता practically, engineering apply karta hai by getting themselves involved into different tasks, by putting them by having practical benefits such as building a bridge or having a nuclear reactor. So that's how they differ. That's how physics and engineering differs. Physics ये सब चीजें नहीं करता. They don't build bridges and they don't build nuclear reactors, but engineering करता है. But this is not the main focus of the paragraph. That's why we are not choosing option 4. Clear? Thank you so much, Raghav. Means a lot. So I hope you enjoyed the session. I hope you understood every part of it. We are continuing this in the next session and we'll be having a look at the further, more trickier para summaries. So please stay stuck. Please don't miss any of these sessions now, because we have already started with the para summary, and we are going to continue with the verbal ability sessions till approximately 8 to 9 sessions, right? Okay, guys. Thank you so much, Shashank. Means a lot. Thank you, all of you. Good night. See you in the next session. Bye-bye. Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye. Good night. Take care. Same to you, Raghav. Bye-bye. Take care. Good night. Thank you.